Hey guys, Goanna here. I just had some great news from my doctor. I have lost 11.1 kilos for the month. So welcome to the second installment of Eat Yourself Thin. That is absolute fact. For those of you that work in imperial measurements, that's nearly 25 pounds. That's 24.5 pounds for the first month, which isn't bad for me, and especially not bad considering you can eat yourself till you're stuffed every meal. I mean, fill yourself up. So in this installment, we're going to look at the foods which you can eat, the foods which you shouldn't eat, and cook a simple meal together. So let's get to the kitchen. So the type of foods you should be focusing on is pretty much anything green and leafy, like celery, snow peas, green beans, anything with a really high fiber content that's also full of water, because these things will fill you up and they won't put on any weight. You can pretty much eat as much as you want. So for our meal tonight, we're going to grab some herbs. We've got parsley, lemon balm, thyme, oregano and rosemary. We'll talk about a bit more about the herbs in the next video and the benefits they have for you. But right now it's enough to know that we're using them. We also have an onion, shallots from the garden, some snow peas, radishes, parsnip, carrots, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, spinach, beetroot, ginger, garlic, almonds and walnuts. There you go, nearly forgot what they were called. And this is going to be absolutely delicious. Then on top of this, we're going to throw a nice, delicious fillet of salmon. And let me tell you, this is fantastic. You can eat as much as you want of this. So let's get chopping and then we'll throw it in the pan. Now with your herbs, if you're seasoning fish or meat, you want to put your herbs in at the start so that the meat absorbs the flavour. However, if you're seasoning veggies, you want to throw them at the end so that the flavour carries through. Just a little tip for you there. All these herbs are fresh from the garden. To prepare your thyme, just pull them back against the leaves, they'll all come straight off. Now, some people put the stems in and then pull them out at the end. That's fine too, however you want to do it. I like just putting the leaves in and then I eat it all. Okay, so there's our herbs. Now we're going to set that aside for the rest of the veggies. We're going to add that in at the end. But before we do that, we're also going to add some to our salmon. There we go, absolutely lovely. Now this isn't fresh from the ocean, but like I said, we're going to be doing everything you can get from your local supermarket, and you can get some lovely salmon just from your local supermarket. So we're just going to salt it first. Drop it in our herbs. That just looks fantastic, and then we're going to set that aside. We're going to use the same pan for the salmon, but we're going to cook our stir fry first. I don't bother peeling any of the veggies because there's just so many vitamins just in under the skin. It's like I can't really think of a good analogy. I was going to say like taking the crust off your bread, but Really, that's just pulling the burnt bits off and doesn't have any health value, so I won't say that one. But yeah, the skin is good. Keep the skin. I'm just cutting them in extra strips here. It just helps them cook a bit faster. Because we're doing a stir fry, we just want them, you know, just show them the heat. That's about all we're doing with them. So in order to get rid of that raw taste, they need to be quite thin. I'm going to make two separate piles because these vegetables are going to cook at different speeds. So you need to work out your order in which to throw your vegetables in. Radishes, I love radishes. They look so good for you. Really much of a taste in a radish, but still very good for you. Normally I'd use the leaves of the celery as well, but I don't have any today, so you use what you can get. Now I use a heap of garlic just because I love garlic, but you can use what you like. I mean, if there's something you really don't like, then don't put it in. This is supposed to be enjoyable. So use a bit of common sense as well. You don't have to follow the menu exactly. In fact, my menu changes pretty much every night. Now, don't get me wrong there, the basis is the same. All these veggies are the same, but you can swap the veggies out with other fantastic veggies. They don't have to be the same veggies all the time. Like these snow peas will swap out for green beans. Some days we'll have beetroot, some days we won't. You can change your nuts around. Different kind of fish. I mean, you don't just have to have salmon. I have barramundi, trout, hoki. There's such a great variety out there. You can have the same basis of the menu every night without actually having any of the same ingredients. Now, as you can probably guess, I like onion and garlic and I guess what you call spicy vegetables. So I cut them fairly thick. If you don't like them so much, just dice them, cut them into smaller pieces. Because I think they're perfect just in rings like that. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, shallots from the garden, can't forget those. And you don't need a big garden for herbs. I've got quite a large garden for herbs, but you don't need it. You can grow them in a pot. They'll work just as well. Instead of going to the supermarket and buying your herbs, just buy a plant. Give it 3 months to get a head start before you start plucking it, and then get into it. So to peel your snow peas, you just snap the end, and then you can pull that fibrous bit off, and they will just be plump and tasty. Doesn't matter if it doesn't all come off, I mean, it's still going to be just as good. These snow peas are the things that are really going to make the meal filling and keep you full for a longer time. What I'd also like to talk about, which is why I'm doing this, is you need to know your body. Now, a lot of the times we're feeling hungry, it isn't actually because we're hungry. I mean, I know you're hungry, but there are other reasons for it. For example, sometimes when you're thirsty, your body can mistake it for being hungry. So sometimes it's best to have a big glass of water and see if you're still hungry after that. And if you are, by all means, dig in. Also, a bit of dark chocolate, needs to be 85% plus cocoa, will help with appetite cravings, and especially if you're female. If you're one of our female viewers, then a large glass of milk can really do the job and be satisfying. Everybody needs that calcium. Alright, so our Brussels sprouts are going to go in first with our nuts, then our root vegetables, and don't be afraid to pick at your food too. Having a quick snack while you're cooking really reduces your appetite by the time it reaches the table. Okay, and I think we are set. Apart from the garlic, not the garlic, the ginger, which we are just going to grate. But like I was saying, know your body. For example, if you're having a late night and it gets to about midnight, you'll probably get hungry. And that's nothing to do with anything else except that you need sleep. When you're asleep, that's when your body uses up all its stored fat and processes things, gets you ready for the next day. If you're still awake, it can't do that. So it'll tell you you're hungry instead, and you'll find, even if you're hungry at those early morning hours, if you go to sleep, you won't be hungry in the morning because your body has used that stored energy to keep you going. So remember, get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, and eat till you're full. That's my favourite part. And then afterwards, we're even going to have some chocolate. And all this, and losing, 11 kilos in the first month. We've just got our pan heating up over here. I like to use a nice cast iron pan. Heats it, keeps the heat, distributes it, and just a drizzle of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, made right here in Australia. Now, when your oil starts to smoke a little bit, that's when you know your pan's hot enough. And you're just going to have to work out the temperatures of your own stove to work out where you need it. But I find just slightly above a simmer temperature is a great way to start the veggies. Some walnuts. Oh, I can't resist myself. I always have to eat a few as well. Don't worry if they escape. Almonds and walnuts are fantastic for protein, but not only that, they'll give you a lot of your oils and fats that you need. I mean, you don't need to add butter and heaps of oil and all that other kind of stuff. When I was cooking before, I could easily use an entire stick of butter in a meal. And that's part of my problem. That's why my cholesterol is so high. But you just don't have to. There's no need for it. So, in goes our Brussels sprouts. And already that's smelling great. Now, the reason why I put the Brussels sprouts in first is simply because they take the longest to cook. Now, if you don't cook them properly, well, if you don't get them started, they just taste like raw cabbage. Which is fine if you like raw cabbage, I guess. That's onion, garlic. As you can see, I don't bother chopping the garlic, I just crush it. But if you don't want a big mouthful of garlic, then you can chop it up more finely. The garlic is really good for giving you that strength and energy you need. Boosting your immune system. Wonderful. That's beautiful. Look at the colour we're getting on those. Okay, so now you're giving these a head start. Let's get in the root vegetables. Carrots, parsnip, beetroot. The beetroot actually has a few more calories than the rest, but hey, treat yourself. And it's delicious. I mean, you can't have an Australian dinner without beetroot in it, surely. Like burger's not Australian unless it's got beetroot on it. And this adds so much colour as well. Now if you want, if you've got the time to stand next to it, you can actually turn that heat up a bit, as long as you're going to keep moving it. But if you're like me, and you've got kids and washing and all kinds of things going on in the background, then just keep it above a simmer. It'll take a little bit longer, but the result's going to be just as good. The part you need to remember though is to turn it back down for your fish. Sometimes I forget that bit and you end up with quite a crispy piece of fish, which is still very tasty, but it may not look as great on the video, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. Alright, so now that we've given all our root vegetables a bit of a head start, time for these delicious snow peas. The snow peas will take about 3 minutes. That's just looking absolutely fantastic. Man. You want all those last minute vegetables, like your bok choy, shallots, baby spinach, all those wonderful herbs we chopped, and all that lovely grated ginger as well. Now it looks like quite a big pan, but all these big green leaves will actually reduce. And that is how you know when you're finished. There we go, that looks fantastic, smells fantastic. Now we're going to turn that right down for our fish next. This will all go into the bowl from early. It does look like my eyes are bigger than my belly, so we're going to have to grab 2 bowls. Alright, don't worry if you've still got some herbs stuck to the bottom of the pan. It's just seasoning. And just a drop more oil for our fishy. In he goes. Oh, it's just such a delicious sound too. And he just wants 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Now don't be worried if you have cooked a couple of extra veggies. Like I said, Brussels sprouts, fantastic to snack on while you're cooking everything else. Excuse me for talking with my mouth full. And if you don't get hungry in the middle of the night and eat them, yeah, they'll do for tomorrow. Then you just got to heat your veggies, put your fish on top, and that meal is done. So quick and easy. Now, if you look at the side of the fish, you're starting to see the cook line coming up, and you see the fishy changing colour. But with fish, we don't actually want to let it get quite to halfway. Just before halfway is what we want, because it'll still keep cooking after it comes out of the pan, and we don't want to dry our fish out. Salmon's actually quite resilient. If you overcook it a little bit, it's not going to care. But still, for that perfect piece of salmon, I like to keep an eye on it. So yeah, about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, depending on the thickness. That is starting to look really nice. So we'll pick him up. Get the oil, just drizzle it back to where it was. That's fine. Flip him over. Ah, how can I get that without the glare? If I turn this light off, no, then you can't see anything. But take my word for it, he's just golden. Golden. So we've talked a bit about the foods that you want to try and include. And for breakfast, I'll just have a cup of soup. It's just, you know, you're all intelligent people, and it just involves taking a little bit more time when you go shopping. Read the back of the carton. They have all the daily intake on them now. And if the food's, you know, if it's a snack food and it's 3/4 of your recommended daily intake, then I'm afraid you're just going to have to say no. It's not a food that's going to help you lose weight. At the same time, if you find, the other day I found a jar of asparagus which was 0.1% of your daily energy intake. So, I mean, eat as many of those as you want. Eat 10 jars as a snack. You know, it's not going to worry you. It's all about being a little bit smarter with your food choices. So what I do is I have a cup of soup for breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast person anyway. So a cup of soup is fine. That fills me up. And then for lunch I have a couple of those little, you know, those little tins of tuna. Where are we? Just those little tins of flavoured tuna. They're not very big, but you know, have 2 or 3. They're only worth about 5% of your daily intake. So even if you have 2 of them, that's only 10% of the food. And then this meal at the end, you know, just keep eating. I mean, all these veggies, none of these veggies are going to put on any weight, and you can just stuff yourself till you're absolutely full. So full you can't even move, and it's delicious. Your body is going to realign itself, so to speak. You're going to stop craving chocky bickies, especially when you see the weight coming off. And this is the kind of food you're going to get hungry for. I mean, the kids were having hot chips and gravy earlier, and I used to love hot chips and gravy. But you look at it and you say, nah, it's just not worth it. It just makes you more anxious to get into the kitchen and cook yourself something decent. You know, I think that is pretty good. Fish on top. And that is just magnificent. I can't see anybody complaining about that. That is delicious and tasty, and the best thing is you can eat as much as you want and you will lose the weight. But now for the taste test. So here we have an unbiased critic. This is my daughter Scarlett.
Hello.
She's 6 years old, absolutely hates vegetables and hates fish.
I'm actually 7.
7? When did you turn 7? I don't know, it gets away from you. It does. Okay, so are you ready to try some?
Yes.
Do you want me to cut it for you?
No, thank you. Good.
So there you have it. Alright, so thank you for tuning in again to another episode of Eat Yourself Thin. And remember, be smart when you shop. Eat what tastes good, that's healthy, fresh, save some of that for me. And just remember, fill yourself up, be fed and happy. I love you all. Have a great night.
I want to eat all of the fish.